Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, to DLS Weekly, provided to you by Delaware Live Sports. Pack your Andes, Mike Lang here with you. Just got an alert, Nick Alessandrini hit a pothole on the way here. Rumor has it, it's actually the bunker that Jay does his way too early preseason seedings for. So Nick will be here, obviously he'll join us in the next segment, but glad to have you in here. Mike, first show of the spring season. Obviously, you had some scheduling conflicts throughout the winter season and then throughout the spring season. Feels good to be back here and talk a little spring sports.
Yeah, I got a couple of great guests on tonight. The Delaware military and the Conrad baseball teams behind us, and they came out in force, Pat, which we wouldn't expect anything less from those two. And we've been out streaming a lot and watching a lot of sports. And been good so far. Yeah, well,
I mean, to talk a little bit about that, Mike. I mean, me personally, it's been kind of tough working around these, 3 p.m. and 4 p.m. first pitches, but I know you've had a chance to get out, check out some games. What stood out to you so far in the opening few weeks of the spring season?
Well, in baseball, it's just been teams at the top. There's 2 undefeated teams left, I think. DMA lost yesterday.
Did.
With St. Mark's still undefeated, and Apple, I believe. There's a couple undefeateds left, but really everybody's taking their lumps. A lot of close baseball games. Softball, you see some players really standing out. Soccer, I just watched Paddle and St. Mark's. St. Mark's team, they're unbelievable. That soccer team, defending Division II state champions. Seen Salesiano lacrosse has looked pretty good so far. And Cape Henlope is looked real good in lacrosse, and archery. Those three really separating themselves along with Wilmington Friends. So a lot of sports going into spring. It's the busiest time of year. Pat, last Friday, I was at Salesiano for undefeated volleyball, Cape Henlope and Sally's. Wow. And that we'll find out maybe tomorrow whether boys volleyball gets a state championship this year. The DIAA board meets tomorrow, and that is on the agenda. So it's been a busy spring. Even in DIAA, we can probably do a whole show just on them.
Yeah.
But a lot of activity going on in Dover as well.
Mike, I think the Macho Man Randy Savage once said the cream always rises to the top, right?
Yeah.
We're starting to see that happen. But yeah, well, you talked about players that have been standing out, and we got to see one in a stream that we did this past week as Glenn Benny and Shannon Timmons went down to Georgetown and checked out a top 5 softball matchup as number 5 Appo visited number 1 Delmarva Christian. The player, of course, that we're talking about is Kaylin Yoder, and she did not disappoint. Her second no-hitter in the last 3 games. She 20 strikeouts while in the circle.
Yeah.
Then stepped up to the plate and hit a home run in a shutout 2-0 victory over number 5 Appo. So one of the many players that is standing out. Again, no-hitter, 20 strikeouts. There always seems to be a dominant pitcher or two within the state on the softball side.
And in softball, if you have that pitcher, you're in a game. You're in the game no matter what if you have a pitcher. And Kaylin's not alone. She's having an outstanding season. The Royals having a great year all over in sports. It's been a Delmarva Christian kind of year. They've had, especially on the girls' side, they've had a great 22-23 sports seasons.
Without a doubt. And taking a look ahead, upcoming streams, we got number 1 DMA visiting number 6 Conrad in our first state orthopedics game of the week. As Mike alluded to, both teams here today. Conrad actually just came off the diamond playing St. Elizabeth. So,
how about that?
It's going to be a great show on top of those 2 teams. So we'll get to speak to after the break here. We're going to have our top 10s as well as top performers and top plays of the week. So
here I thought they just wore their uniforms for
appeal.
Yeah, they look good though.
Right off the dime, they played my Vikings. We'll give you the score when we talk to them. Rough day for my St. E's team, but it is what it is. But we're going to take our first commercial break of the evening. When we come back, DMA Baseball will be joining us, Coach Aaron Lewis and company. You're not going to want to miss it right here on DLS Weekly.
The things that matter most happen right in our own backyard. Our neighbors, our schools, the places we go, and the people we know. And now there's one news outlet where our story is told. Delaware Live. Locally owned, community-based news. Free to every reader, because Delaware's future belongs to all of us. Quality journalism we can trust to help us take on the day. Delaware Live. Our state, our news, our home. The things that matter most happen right in our own backyard. Our neighbors, our schools, the places we go, and the people we know. And now there's one news outlet where our story is told. Delaware Live. Locally owned, community-based news. Free to every reader, because Delaware's future belongs to all of us. Quality journalism we can trust to help us take on the day. Delaware Live. Our state, our news, our home. The things that matter most happen right in our own backyard. Our neighbors, our schools, the places we go, and the people we know. And now there's one news outlet where our story is told. Delaware Live. Locally owned, community-based news. Free to every reader, because Delaware's future belongs to all of us. Quality journalism we can trust to help us take on the day. Delaware Live. Our state, our news, our home. The things that matter most happen right in our own backyard. Our neighbors, our schools, the places we go, and the people we know. And now there's one news outlet where our story is told. Delaware Live. Locally owned, community-based news. Free to every reader, because Delaware's future belongs to all of us. Quality journalism we can trust to help us take on the day. Delaware Live. Our state, our news, our home. The things that matter most happen right in our own backyard. Our neighbors, our schools, the places we go, and the people we know. And now there's one news outlet where our story is told. Delaware Live. Locally owned, community-based news. Free to every reader, because Delaware's future belongs to all of us. Quality journalism we can trust to help us take on the day. Delaware Live. Our state, our news, our home. The things that matter most happen right in our own backyard. Our neighbors, our schools, the places we go, and the people we know. And now there's one news outlet where our story is told. Delaware Live. Locally owned, community-based news. Free to every reader, because Delaware's future belongs to all of us. Quality journalism we can trust to help us take on the day. Delaware Live. Our state, our news, our home.
Inside Delaware Live Sports Weekly, Nick Allison-Drini, Pat Garianis, and now we are joined by a special guest, your top team in this state here, #1 ranked Delaware Military Academy. Guys, appreciate you taking the time to join us today. We just want to go around and introduce yourselves, and then we'll get started.
I'm Drew Simpson. Tyler August.
Jackson Dorsey.
I'm Tyler Leach, and I'm Coach Aaron Lewis.
Coach Aaron Lewis, man, love it. Hey, fellas, a couple of you guys have had some big commitments. Tyler, University of Delaware, Drew to Westchester. Jackson Dorsey, getting into the U.S. Coast Guard, man. Congrats on that. Talk a little bit about your experiences, how you came to make the decision that you did, and kind of what that process has been like.
So I got on a couple visits to Westchester. I played in a camp up there also, talked to all the coaches, met a couple of the players and talked to them about it. And I've heard nothing but good things about it, and the campus is nice also. So yeah.
So when I committed to Delaware, it was a real family atmosphere. Obviously my dad played there and had a really successful career, so that played a factor in it as well. Jackson, Tyler, and Kevin Williams were seniors when I was a sophomore who committed there as well, and they really showed me how the team goes and stuff. And honestly, it was a no-brainer in my eyes.
Yeah, so mine was a big service commitment, so I always had a desire to serve, and Coast Guard just gave me the outlet to continue my baseball career.
And guys, I forgot you. Usually we start off with one of the better questions here, and we let you slide by. So I'm going to hit it with you right now, guys. We're here at Buffalo Wild Wings. Your go-to wing sauce here when you're getting your wings here at B-Dubs. What's your top choice? What's your go-to? Drew, start with you.
Honey barbecue.
Honey barbecue?
I'm more of a mild guy.
Definitely lemon pepper wet.
Yeah, I gotta go mild.
Okay.
I'm a mild guy.
That's 3 miles. Okay.
Yep.
There you go.
All right, Coach, we'll start with you, right? Well, let's dive into the season a little bit. 8-1 on the year, got off to an 8-0 start, tough loss against Tower Hill. What have you learned about this team through the first 9 games of the season back, the midway point?
Yeah, first thing, give kudos to Tower Hill and Marty Coyne. He threw a hell of a game against us yesterday. Very good pitcher, probably one of the best in the state. He did a great job. What I've learned about our team, I learned that we're very talented top to bottom throughout our program. Our pitching staff is very tough, and they compete a lot on the mound. A lot of these guys don't get a lot of innings because of the amount of pitching that we have, and on other teams they would be, 1 or 2 guys for them. I also learned that, we need to be a little bit better when we learn to face when adversity hits in our program. I think we lack facing that adversity at times, and I know for a fact that we'll get better at doing that as a whole as we go on leading into the tournament.
And guys, you heard Coach. Maybe now in your eyes, what has kind of stood out to you this far or early into the season as you kind of progress more and more into this year?
I definitely agree that we need to learn a few things about just competing throughout the whole game and not just the beginning, and battling the whole time, not just like giving up if something goes bad.
Piggybacking on what Drew said, like that, we need continuous energy from first inning to last inning. In the first inning, we're a really tough team. We jump on a lot of teams because we're energized, and then I think we relax a little bit too much and just say, oh, we're up, they're not going to come back. But every team's going to give us their best. So when we play a hard game 1 through 7, I think that's what we need to do to get over the edge.
Yeah, I think one of the big things we do right is team chemistry, and that's a huge thing on and off the field. That's something that we maybe didn't have as much last year or in past years, but it's definitely huge this year.
Tyler, want to add?
Yeah, like Doris said, we're always with each other. We're hanging out all the time, just messing around with each other. So that's one of the big good things that we do together.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely important when it comes to the team building if you want to go deep. So that's good to hear. And, you guys have been tested throughout the season. You got big wins against Archfair and Middletown, in which you guys won in walk-off fashion. And you got other wins against Sussex Central and St. George's. The challenging schedule, talk about how important that is both from the player's perspective and the coach's perspective, especially come tournament time. You guys obviously have some experience going deep into the tournament. How important is it playing these tough teams throughout the season?
It's very important. We try to challenge our guys throughout the season just to see where we're at. So going into the playoffs, the first time we get put in a tough situation, it isn't the first time of the year that we dealt with it. We dealt with it multiple times throughout the year. So I can easily put together an easy schedule and give our guys a false sense of how good we are, but I'm willing to sacrifice some losses to see where we're at and what we need to do to get better come tournament time.
Fellas, how about you guys? I mean, talk a little bit about how important it is to be going against the top teams in the state, game in and game out. I feel like you got to be on a mental edge at all times when that kind of schedule is that accurate?
Yeah, I think it's really important to face the best teams because that's who we're going to see in the playoffs. Also, facing some of the best pitchers in the state in some of these games is also important. It's just so we're not seeing the best guy we've ever seen in the first round of the playoffs.
Yeah, everybody's saving their best for us. It's been proven so far. So.
Yeah, I think that it shows that when we get put in tough situations that we don't need people to pull through, and obviously we see a lot of good pitching because people think we're really good, and so I think it just shows in tough situations that we're gonna need everyone to step up, and the atmospheres of the games it's playoff atmosphere almost every game with us, so it just it's gonna prepare us for the championships.
Jackson, anything to add, Jackson?
Yeah, the only thing is I'd rather have our hardest game now than in the tournament.
Yeah,
that's all.
Preparation, Nick.
Yeah, I mean, it just shows we don't care who we play. We're gonna come out, same intensity every game, and try and win.
Yeah, that's the right mindset. And now, guys, let's kind of shift our focus to tomorrow's action, the Battle of Boxwood Road, if you will, with Conrad, another team that's up there in the rankings. Let's just talk a little bit about them for a second. Coach, what do you know about the Red Wolves coming into this matchup tomorrow?
We know they're a very good team. They're well coached. Kelly and Joe does a great job with them. We know they like to run. They like to bunt. They put the ball in play. They're going to compete from the first pitch to the last pitch. So, I mean, I've been here for 10 years, and I know exactly what we're going to get from them. It's going to be a dogfight. It's going to be a dogfight. But I think we're ready for it.
From a player's perspective, you guys and your programs, historically, at least the last 10 years, have been up amongst the top in the state. Obviously, they're right down the street from you. I mean, is there any added emotion involved in this? Knowing that you've grown up with these guys and obviously being right down the street from each other.
Yeah, I mean, it's always a game that we have circled on our schedule that we always want to win every year, and we always know it's going to be a tough game going into it. So we're expecting nothing different this year.
Yeah, I think there's going to be a lot of high tension there. A lot of us are good friends with some of the kids on that team, so it's going to be tough because we know so much about each other. But I think this is one of the games that's going to make us better for a tournament. So it's going to prepare us.
Yeah, it's always a matchup against them, no matter what the sport. And I think since both baseball teams are very good, it's just going to be another one of those games like a dogfight.
Absolutely. Tyler, want to add?
Yeah, we know they're chirpy, they're scrappy. We're ready for them now.
All right, guys, and then, Coach, here we go. Let's just get maybe your keys to victory. What do you, in your eyes, what do you guys have to do tomorrow to come out on top in that game against Conrad?
I think we just got to play our game. If we come out and compete from the first pitch on, we have competitive at-bats, and we try to eliminate the empty outs throughout the game, I think we'll like the outcome of the game.
Guys, similar sentiments there. What do you think in your eyes from a player's perspective you guys got to do out on the diamond tomorrow to get a victory?
Yeah, just come out with a lot of energy, keep it the whole entire game, play behind our guys, and we'll be fine.
I think we can't let the moment get too big for us. Obviously, like I've said before, it's going to be a lot of high-intensity moments, so we don't need people to step up in places that they're not used to.
I like what Drew said with the high energy. That's a big thing that we need tomorrow.
Yeah, I agree with the energy. We bring the energy, starting from pregame all the way to the 7th inning. It matters a lot.
All right, it's going to be a good one. All right, fellas, before we let you go, this is a question we ask everybody. We'll tailor it more to baseball, right? So every bullpen guy's got an entrance song. Every batter's usually got a walk-up song. I don't know, Coach, you let him have walk-up songs or no?
Now, we kind of stopped the walk-up songs.
Okay,
so we just do music in between.
Mental walk-up.
We'll live in hypothetical world. Say you're entering in the game from the bullpen or you're coming up to the plate. What's the song that's going to lock you in, get ready for the at-bat or get ready for the inning? You have to choose one.
I don't really got a song, but I listen to a lot of Drake. So.
Mine's Statement by G Herbo.
Country, but Dear Rodeo by Cody Johnson.
Definitely Wicked Witch by Nardo Wick.
Coach, you got to have a song, right?
Hey, my days are over. I don't need a walk-up song. My days are over.
Wow, there you have it again. Delaware Military Academy. Guys, really appreciate you joining us tonight. Good luck in tomorrow's action.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
DMA, your #1 ranked team in the state. We're going to take a break. When we come back, you'll hear from the Red Bulls of Conrad. We'll be right back on DLS Weekly.
Your home, your community. It's not just where you live, it's where you belong. At Dover Federal Credit Union, we understand what it means to be local. We started here, and we're not going anywhere. We're as local as it gets, and we like it that way. We're not just a financial institution, we are the local credit union that you can trust. Local people, local decisions. Dover Federal Credit Union. Your home, your community. It's not just where you live, it's where you belong. At Dover Federal Credit Union, we understand what it means to be local. We started here, and we're not going anywhere. We're as local as it gets, and we like it that way. We're not just a financial institution, we are the local credit union that you can trust. Local people, local decisions. Dover Federal Credit Union. Your home.
Hospitality, founded in 2004 when 3 guys teamed up to introduce the Buffalo Wild Wings franchise to Delaware. To date, they operate 8 Buffalo Wild Wings in Delaware and Maryland. Also the Stone Balloon and Limestone Barbecue. And let's not forget Eggspectation and 5 Jersey Mikes throughout Delaware. High Five Hospitality's mission is to operate 5 brands that serve high-quality products with exceptional hospitality.
Welcome back in, ladies and gentlemen, to TLS Weekly, powered by 302 Sports. Thanks once again to the MA baseball team for stepping in. Now we're going to meet the Red Wolves here of Conrad, led by head coach Kelly Wilson. And fellas, I'll let you guys introduce yourselves.
Nathan Sherga, Senior.
Brett Walmsley, Senior.
Solomon Abdullah, Senior.
Blanche, Senior. And Ryder Lucas, Senior.
All right, guys. Coach Kelly Wilson, appreciate you guys joining us. And we'll start off with a good one here. We're at B-Dubs. What is your go-to wing sauce here for your wing selection here at Buffalo Wild Wings when you grab some wings here?
Honey barbecue.
Honey barbecue, kick it off the same way. What?
I just tried a honey garlic. It was really good.
There you go. Yeah.
I gotta say honey barbecue.
Okay.
Honey garlic.
2 and 2. We got some
mild sauce.
Mild.
Honey barbecue.
Absolutely. Now, fellas, you guys have a great recruiting process that have gone by. Nate, you're going to Cairns University. Brad's University of Delaware. Solomon, you're going to Arcadia. Pat, you're going to Del Tech. And Riley, I know you're still undecided going through the process. Talk a little bit about what that process has been like, how you guys that have chose where you're going, how you came on that decision, and Riley, kind of what your process is right now.
I'll say when I first started the recruiting process, it was very stressful. But, you know, I found the right place, and when I got there, they made me feel like home right from the start, and that's exactly why I chose it.
Yeah, I feel the same way. Second I got to UD, I looked at the campus. I knew that's where I wanted to be. And I've been wanting to go there for a long time, so I'm just happy I got the opportunity.
Honestly, the recruiting process was stressful, but honestly, when I saw Arcadia, I knew it was the right fit. And it helps that my brother goes there, too.
When I went down to Del Tech and visited, I knew a couple of people on the team, knew that program was pretty good, and that's why I made that decision.
And I'm just working right now, and I'm going to have to keep working. And we're going to see how it happens.
Absolutely. Coach, talk a little bit from a coach's perspective, helping athletes. Obviously, you've had guys go on to the next level through the years. How exciting it is, again, to continue with the program being in the position that it is, having kids go play at the next level.
Yeah, it's awesome. I mean, as a coach, that's my goal. Obviously, go to the next level with education, but players, and we're getting a lot that are moving on to the next level. But there's a lot of credit too. These guys play in great summer programs, great travel, and clubs. They all play very high levels all year, so they get exposed quite a bit in the summer, more than any of our high school coaches really can do for them. So that helps out a lot.
Coach, just to stick with you here quickly, what has kind of the season been like from your perspective here? We're into mid-April. Just kind of talk about the season so far in your eyes.
Real excited. I thought we started off surprisingly ready to roll. We did a lot of things. We were very aggressive on the field. We were a mixed group with seniors and a sophomore class and juniors. That group just coming together. I wasn't sure how things were going to work out, but I thought we've played, out of our first, 8-1? First 9 games, we've played pretty well.
You guys came right off
I was
the
about to
diamond,
say, you
right?
guys looking like you had a game today. So talk a little bit about today's matchup.
Today's matchup actually was, we ended up winning 11-1, but Sainey's had, a seasoned vet and Trout throwing against us, and it was a 2-1 game, I believe, into the 5th, and then we put up a 3 spot and then a 6 spot. And of course, they had to take him out of the game. We took advantage of that. But I thought we played real well. Again, we were real aggressive with the bats. And Nate Sherger pitched a complete game today, and it did an awesome job.
You have nothing better than a win and some wings on the same Wednesday, right?
That's it, man. It hurts. You did damage to my Vikings, but it's good, man. You guys got to do what you got to do. So, obviously the big win today. You also got a few big wins this season against Louisiana and Appoquinimate that were come from behind victories. Guys, from a player's perspective, what do those come from behind victories do for you guys as a unit? You know, the camaraderie and just the overall confidence of the team level to come back and get big time wins like that.
You know, I feel like it actually motivates us a lot, how we always stay together as a group and we never really completely give up. And I just like that we're always hungry to come back and get the win.
Does anybody want to add on?
I'm just happy we've been battling and just not playing scared, just going out there and just always ready to come back, ready to battle.
And you guys have obviously, like we talked about, had a heck of a start to the season. 8-1, as Coach mentioned. The only loss coming to Caravel. What did you guys learn maybe in that matchup, in that lone loss only so far this season?
Honestly, we just came out a little bit flat, but it was a good way, you know what I'm saying, to see what we're made of, you know what I'm saying? That's about it.
Hey, Coach, from your perspective, you know, losses, I feel like are learning opportunities, right? And what did you learn from not only the come from, I mean, I'll throw you the same too, right? The come from behind victories as well as, you know, your lone defeat. What were some of the learning moments from those games?
Well, I think a lot of those come from behind and tight games were back to back to back against real good programs. And of course, Caravel's an awesome program. You know, but it's a tail end of a spring break and a lot of baseball.
Right.
We just came out flat. We didn't play well. Caravel played well, and we almost bounced back in that one a little bit. We didn't have enough. We didn't have enough gas. So I think that's one of those losses you hate to take, but you're taking it from a very good program, and then hopefully you bounce back from it. It looks like we did today pretty well. Sure.
Guys, let's shift our focus now to the big matchup tomorrow night. You guys in DMA right down the street. No matter what the sport, like they said before, it's always going to be a battle when the Red Wolves go at it with the Seahawks, especially on the baseball field. It's our first day orthopedics game of the week tomorrow night. What do you guys know about DMA, and what's kind of the mindset coming into that matchup?
They have a great program. They have a lot of good arms. They can swing the bat. They can run the bases. But I think it's going to be a good game. Both teams are very well prepared.
Nate, anybody else want to add?
I think they're a very well-coached team. They know what they're doing. And, you know, I just think it's going to be a very good game tomorrow as well.
We're definitely going to have to play hard.
You guys have had some battles through the years. Like I said, I mean, especially the last, you know, six or so years. You guys have both been towards the top of the state. Talk a little bit about the challenges, you know, crosstown rival with Coach Lewis and his program, and you know, these battles. They got to be the type of battle that gets you ready to go for a tournament.
Yeah, it's the best rivalry baseball that I've been around coaching in the last 25 years. So, I mean, I've been at Conrad. I think this is 13. I think there's been 2 lopsided games, maybe one in 2012, one their way, or one went our way a couple of years ago. Everything else is a very, very good ball game.
And guys, now keys to the victory. Coach, we'll start with you and then head to the rest of you guys here. What do you guys got to do to get a victory tomorrow against DMA? What's maybe, Coach, we'll start with you, your keys to victory. What do you want to see out of these guys tomorrow afternoon?
We got to get on the bases. You know, we have to have guys on bases, no matter what it takes. That's what we do well. We're aggressive on bases. We run. We do things. It's obvious you got to get guys on base to win a baseball game, but that's part of our strength.
Very good. Coach, guys, what do you think? The same thing? What other things you guys got to do?
I think we got to execute very early. Can't really have any mistakes in the field with a team like this, and we just got to jump on them early.
I think that most important thing is that we're throwing strikes. I know we have one of our best guys. They have one of their best guys. And I think it's going to be a battle no matter what. But we just got to get out there, put runners on, continue to throw strikes, limit the walks.
I feel like we're going to focus on like fouling a lot of stuff off, get them out early so that we can
strategy. Riley, want to add? Riley, anything?
Definitely coming out with some intensity. You can't come out flat. You gotta.
There we go. Just started the big 3-game homestand for these guys. Well, hey, fellas, listen. I don't know if Coach has you guys walk. Some guys have walk-up songs. It doesn't always happen down at the high school level, but as you get older, you get a walk-up song. You come out of the bullpen, you got a song that you enter to. If you had your choice of the song, whether coming out of the pen or coming up to the plate to get you locked in, ready to go, what would that song be?
Mine would easily have to be Shook Ones by Mobb Deep.
Wow. Wow. Starting off with a bang. There we go. Love it.
I know Coach Kelly's going to like this. Otis.
Jason.
Mine would have to be Princess Diana by Ice Spice.
Ice Spice. Wow. First Ice Spice right there.
Anything by 027 Quantity.
All right.
Probably Dreams and Nightmares by Meek Mill.
Popular choice. Coach, what was yours?
I don't know if anybody remember. Mine would have to be like, gotta have to be a Metallica song. But I don't know if any of these guys listen to this anymore. But
Master of Puppets, right? We got Master of Puppets, Enter Sandman. There's a lot of good choices.
Sandman, that would
a lot of good
Give me
choices.
the chills, right? Give me the chills.
Absolutely, fellas. Well, hey, best of luck taking on DMA and the rest of the season as well to Conrad Red Wolves, everybody. Thanks, Coach, for coming. Players, thank you for coming on. Best of luck.
Thank you. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Conrad Red Wolves. Take a commercial break. We come back. Mike will join us. We'll get the show going right here on DLS Weekly.
Welcome to Premier Physical Therapy and Sports Performance. We're a locally owned outpatient physical therapy practice with convenient locations in all 3 counties in Delaware. At Premier, we have experienced physical therapists with advanced credentials, but their hospitality, passion, and enthusiasm is what makes the difference for you. Find our convenient locations at premierptsp.com.
You may have tried physical therapy,
but have you tried Premier? Welcome to Premier Physical Therapy and Sports Performance. We're a locally owned outpatient physical therapy practice with convenient locations in all 3 counties in Delaware. At Premier, we have experienced physical therapists with advanced credentials, but their hospitality, passion, and enthusiasm is what makes the difference for you. Find our convenient locations at premierptsp.com.
You may have tried physical therapy,
but have you tried Premier? Welcome to Premier Physical Therapy and Sports Performance. We're a locally owned outpatient physical therapy practice with convenient locations in all 3 counties in Delaware. At Premier, we have experienced physical therapists with advanced credentials, but their hospitality, passion, and enthusiasm is what makes the difference for you. Find our convenient locations at premierptsp.com.
You may have tried physical therapy,
but have you tried Premier?
Wraps, signs, banners, and promotional items that can help your business stand out from the rest. Looking for an excellent way to convey a professional image? Customized promotional products are the perfect way to target new customers, increase employee retention, and boost your brand awareness. Let the professionals at Cassidy Graphics bring your advertising ideas to life. Give them a call today at 302-326-2412. Again, that number is 302-326-2412. Again, Cassidy Graphics brings your advertising ideas to life. Wraps, signs, banners, and promotional items that can help your business stand out from the rest. Looking for an excellent way to convey a professional image? Customized promotional products are the perfect way to target new customers, increase employee retention, and boost your brand awareness. Let the professionals at Cassidy Graphics bring your advertising ideas to life. Give them a call today at 302-326-2412. Again, that number is 302-326-2412. Again, Cassidy Graphics brings your advertising ideas to life. Wraps, signs.
And welcome back inside DLS Weekly. Nick Alessandrini, Pat Garianis, and now we welcome back Mike Lang. A little hiatus, a special thanks to Conrad and DMA for joining us on this Wednesday evening ahead of a big First Aid Orthopedics game of the week tomorrow.
Should be a good one, Mike. I mean, both of these schools, Mike or Nick, top 5 teams, playing great baseball right now. 8-1, Mike. You can't say anything more than that.
Yeah, it really should be. And if you're planning on going to that game, you might want to get there early. Not too early because it's at an elementary school, so they have buses going in and out there, and parking's a little tight. So your best bet might be just to watch it on 302 Sports.
Very well then. We'll be bringing it to you live on the page tomorrow, so that should be a good one. And Pat, now it's time to talk a little softball here.
It's in the circle with Glenn, right?
That's right.
In the circle with Glenn Frazier, but great read, by the way. So subscribe to the website. Go check that out, man. Really great stuff from Glenn. The softball top 10's up on your screen. Delmarva Christian stays atop. St. Mark's in at number 2 at 7-0. Followed by Sussex Central at 7-1, Caravel, Appo, Milford with 1 loss apiece at 4, 5, 6, and then 7 through 10 go Laurel at 8-2, Indian River at 5-3, Smyrna 5-4, a challenging schedule, really talented team, and Polytech at 3-3. Glenn did send us some notes, so we do want to make note. Again, Kaylin Yoder was phenomenal, striking out 20 of 21 Appoquinimink batters in a perfect game. That's nearly a perfect game.
That was unreal. We had the Goldie softball doubleheader yesterday. We had heard word of this, and we were talking about it on the air there. You just don't see something like this too often. An incredible performance. And we looked at the rankings, right, Pat? We just went over it, and we're looking at maybe for the 3rd year in a row, could we see Sussex Central and Caravel go at it in the championship? Well, now you look down. These teams are at 4 and 5. You got some other teams up there in the top 10, Mike. Is this the year that we break up that championship appearance that we've been seeing the last couple of years?
Well, I wouldn't write that just yet in pen. What stands out to me, if you look at these teams, you talk about Yoder. Look at St. Mark's. Carly Maxton's been outstanding pitching. Sussex Central, Madge Layfield, I think, is a junior this year. Caravel with Casey Zanitis. Appo, Savannah Laird, pitching, and they have the hitters to go with it. And then some of the downstate teams, I don't get a chance to see. I have seen Smyrna. I don't get a chance to see those downstate teams as much. There's teams that aren't on this list that also have good pitching. And, in softball, you have that pitcher, you're in contention. You do need to score a few runs at least, but it's unbelievable what Yoder's done down there. We talked about it earlier, Pat.
You're not kidding.
And a lot of Henlopen teams in that top 10 as usual, along with Delmarva Christian, and you got St. Mark's, Caravel, the only teams above the canal that are on that list.
That's a good point.
I mean, it's just incredible, Nick. Only one player was able to put the ball in play against Yoder. Think about that. Think about that. Everyone else struck out. It's dominant. It'll be interesting to see. And not to mention she went deep too at the plate. It'll be interesting to see what they do, though. They travel to Caravel on the 25th, so next week, that'll be a game to keep an eye on. Caravel, looking at it, they blanked Cape 3-0 on the 3-run home run by Kendall Brown. Indian River defeated Smyrna 2-1. To your point, Mike, about Smyrna, that's a tough loss. The Eagles go to number 9 because of it. Middletown fell to Polytech and dropped out of the rankings, while the Panthers moved up to number 10. With the 3-3. Their only losses came to Sussex Central, Smyrna, and CR with Peyton Shields, obviously before her knee injury, unfortunately, there with Peyton Shields. And then, Glenn also had a couple other teams you talked about them outside the top 10. Mike, you said there was a couple of them. Glenn alluded to them. DMA at 4-2. They've been good the last few years. Red Lion has been good the last few years. They're 3-1. Padua, they've had some great years in the past. They're at 4-2. Middletown and Lake, both with 2 losses as well, are some teams that Glenn says to keep an eye on. Again, you want to check him out on the website with his In the Circle write-up. It's really a great job. Gets you everything you need to know about softball.
I mean, there you have it. That's the best coverage for softball in the state. It'll get you everything you need to know, north, south, you name it. So make sure you're able to subscribe and check that out. The best info in the state of Delaware on the softball field. And now, Pat, let's talk a little bit about our baseball rankings. We had 2 of the best teams in the state joining us in the house here tonight, Mike. It was a pleasure to speak with them ahead of their game tomorrow night. Let's take a look at what the rest of the top 10 looks like here right now on your screen. We talked about it. DMA, they're sitting at that top spot. St. Mark's, how about that guy's second spot in baseball and softball? So the Spartans up there then. Cape Henlopen, Sussex Tech, and then St. George's rounding out your top 5. And then Conrad, Sanford, Sussex Central, Indian River, and Smyrna. So a few of those southern teams filling out the top 10, Mike. Anything stand out to you just looking at that top 10 for this week?
Well, I believe St. Mark's and Sanford are the only 2 remaining undefeateds after DMA's loss. Sanford's a bit of a surprise. They've haven't restarted the program, but they've kind of built that program up over the past few years. It's really paid off, as you can see. You know, their only reason they're 7 is because they haven't played these top dogs. But 7-0 is 7-0. You can only play who's on your schedule. So congratulations to the Warriors. You know, we always think of them as basketball, but they're doing a good job in baseball this year. You know, I've seen several St. Mark's games. They've got several pitchers on that team. We talk about pitching in softball. Also, it comes in baseball with the pitch count. You need more than a couple guys. You're playing 3 games a week. You need multiple pitchers. But they've done a good job again at St. Mark's. They haven't won a title since 2016 or 17, but they're right in contention again, as usual. So, yeah, it's
and
good.
they got depth, Mike, because my cousin Joey Potts, his dad Joe Sr., as well as John Castro, they coach the JV team, and I've seen the JV team play Sally's. They got some hurlers down there too. So that pipeline's staying full over there.
They're always stacked. You know, when I talk to the people at St. Mark's about the resurgence of all their sports, it seems like, you know, the enrollment goes up, and as they tell you, when the enrollment goes up, some of them are going to be musicians, some are going to be scientists, and some of them are going to be athletes. So as the numbers go up, you're going to get more athletes, and they've really taken advantage. It's a good team down there. I've seen a lot of these teams. It's been a fun year for baseball. Nobody's really standing out dominating. And just when you think somebody might run the table, Tower Hill sneaks up and grabs a win. So with 5 runs in the last inning. So, and I saw Archmere last night, by the way. Archmere in Concord at Frawley Stadium. Great game. It was 5-1. Concord heading in the bottom of the 7th. Hawks scored 5 times in the bottom of the 7th on they won the game on a bases clearing triple by our favorite quarterback, Chris Albero. So.
My goodness, every field, every season, he just seems to make his way out.
He does it all.
We even got a Joey Potts reference in there. Shout out to Sally's Wrestling, state champs this year. So
got another
going on.
shout out for you. Sanford baseball undefeated somewhere. Ian Prescott, class I believe 2014, former co-worker of mine. He's itching his palms right now. He's a part of that Warrior baseball program back in the day. He's got to be loving it. But yeah, Nick, looking ahead, obviously we got the big stream coming up. DMA Conrad. Mike, what are your thoughts on this one too? Again, 2 Titans in baseball going at it.
It should be a good one. I had a chance to call the DMA Middletown game.
You did?
Last week, and a walk-off.
Great call, by the way.
Thanks.
There you go.
It was a walk-off win. It was a wild pitch-off win there for DMA. A comeback in the bottom of the, I think it was 7 innings, I believe. I was so impressed with Tyler August watching him pitch. He just hits the mid-90s. And it's always fun when you're there at Wilson Field, especially because you got a press box.
Yep.
And you see a half dozen or more scouts sitting behind the plate with the guns out.
Helps with the broadcast, right? You can maybe see a few of those numbers.
I don't know. Our cameraman, I don't think he
thought Nick on the radar gun.
But I'm sure they'll be there again tomorrow at Ritchie Elementary. But it's just fun to watch. You know, watching a high-level game like that is just a lot of fun. And I think tomorrow will be a big. They're expecting a big crowd at Ritchie. We should have big numbers watching the game. It's just so much fun to watch 2 good teams, and those are 2 really good teams.
Absolutely.
I mean, that could be a state championship preview tomorrow. You never know.
I don't know how the brackets fall.
That's right. And that is our First Aid Orthopedics game of the week. Tomorrow, first pitch set for, I believe, 4:00 p.m. So that is going to be a good one. And again, the schedule for the next week, we'll get that to you as we progress later on. It's going to be fun and action-packed as well. So a lot coming up for us in the next couple of weeks. And it all starts tomorrow evening with Conrad and DMA.
And just we talked about St. Mark's. St. Mark's and Conrad play this weekend on a rare Sunday matinee.
How about that?
The St. Mark's and Conrad. So if you can't get out tomorrow, because I don't think I can make it tomorrow, and you have some time on Sunday,
check it out.
Head on out and watch the Spartans and Red Wolves.
Take a look at our top performers of the week. And I'll tell you what, Nick, some great performances here. We're going to start this one off. Madge Layfield and McKenna Boyle from Sussex Central. They combined to pitch a no-hitter with 16 strikeouts. Madge has been doing this for a few years.
Yeah.
And now McKenna Boyle adding in on the fun down there at Sussex Central. Big time performance.
It kind of seems like, here we are, first show back in the spring, and we're already highlighting Madge Layfield and Sussex Central softball. So it must be the spring here in 2023. Yeah. Again, a great performance for them to get stuff started for our top performers. You mentioned one already, guys. Kaylin Yoder. What a performance. We talked about her from Delaware Christian, the top-ranked softball team in the state as it stands right now. A perfect game, and then she hits 2 home runs in the win over Delmar. Perfect game, 2 home runs at the plate. It doesn't get much better than that. A huge year in progress for Kaylin Yoder.
And then Haley Grigo from Caravel. I got to see her last week doing camera for Glenn over at Caravel. Went 3 for 3 with 2 triples and then a 3-run home run, or a home run with 3 RBIs, I should say. Tremendous work there from Haley.
And a little foreshadowing, you might see a little piece of that here in a few minutes. And of course, we got to mention Tyler August. He's in the building here today.
Yeah.
We had a chance to check him out at Wilson Field in that game against St. George's. Nick and I, a no-hitter for Tyler in that one, and a shutout victory for DMA. So a big one there for Tyler, and a no-hit victory against St. George's.
And then lastly, we got to give a shout out to Lulu Rishko from Cape Henlopen. 5 goals in a win over Broadneck, I should say, from Maryland. That's getting it.
Hey, I want to add one. Just before I came to this game, I was over at St. Mark's watching the 2 defending state soccer champions, St. Mark's and Padua. Spartans 5-1, a win over the Pandas, and that's not easy to do. They looked really good.
That's Swayze. Isn't that Swayze over there?
Dan Swayze is the coach, yes.
Mr. Swayze. Shout out to Mr. Swayze, former gym teacher of mine back in St. Mark's. So shout out to them and the soccer team. Big win, as Mike alluded to there. And Pat, I think it's time for our favorite part of the week.
Let's do it.
Delaware Live Sports top 10 plays coming at you right now.
Here we go, Delaware Live Sports first spring top 10 of the season. Let's get started at number 10, and Nate Golden from DMA. Check him out here at first base at Wilson Field against Middletown. This one on a line, snags it out of the air, makes the throw to second for the double play. Nate Golden gonna get us started this spring. Then over to Caravel at number 9, another defensive play here. This one for the Buccaneers. A shot out into right field. Gavin Evans diving, makes the catch. A big diving play in right field for Gavin Evans at number 9. Then over to number 8, you remember Bryce Aline right here. Started in Delaware, went to Delaware State, and here he is in the XFL for the Houston Roughnecks. Gets through, dives into the end zone for the touchdown. Then you see the athleticism, the backflip to add on after. Bryce Aline doing it big for Delaware at number 8. Over to number 7, another former Delaware kid here in Lorenzo Carrier, the Apo grad, now down with the Canes at Miami, and this is an absolute moonshot to left field. Lorenzo Air Carrier doing it big down south in Florida. That'll take us to number 6, Sally's in St. Mark's. Here's Corey Sheridan, just absolutely belts this one over the left center fence. A big 2-run home run. You see him touch the plate there in a big game. We'll see more from this one in a little bit. Back to Caravel, this time to the softball field, and Haley Krygo. What a day it was for her. 2 triples. This one going to get to the fence. She'll touch third. This one now, the sun goes down. Doesn't matter. Another one to the fence out and left. Back-to-back triples. And then why not cap it off with a deep shot, a home run for Krygo on a huge day with 2 triples and a home run. That'll take us to Middletown here at number 4, and Frank Cruz Gonzalez back to Wilson Field between DMA and Middletown. Middletown down by 2, no longer. A RBI base clearing triple that ties the game for Cruz Gonzalez in a big spot as he slides safely into third. A huge hit. That'll take us to number 3 in Wilmington Charter, Maya Hogan. Check out this one. Set up for the corner, bend it like Beckham, sends it in, corner kick finds its way to the back of the net. A huge goal for Maya Hogan and Wilmington Charter. This video courtesy of Wilmington Friends. Back to Madeline Rowland here for Friends. Game tied, overtime winner for Maddie Rowland and the Quakers. Check out the action shot after. Maddie Rowland at number 2. That'll take us to our top play of the week. I told you we'd hear more from St. Mark's and Sally's. Well, here's James Buffone, the lefty at the plate, going to drive this one in the gap in right center. Garrett Quinn going to come around and score. Play at the plate. He slides in safely, and St. Mark's gets the win over Sally's with your top play of the week. Here we go, Delaware.
Unbelievable. Gotta love them top 10 plays, Nate. Well done on the voiceover, too, buddy.
Appreciate that, Patrick. Thank you very much.
All right, fellas. Well, hey, we're going to wrap it up. Final thought, Mike?
Weather's supposed to be a little warmer this till Saturday at least. Get out and watch some games. And I said, I go to a lot of games. Give the umpires and referees and officials a break, man. Every game. These guys are out there so your kids can play. Just let them play.
And trust me, again, if you're watching any of the Major League Baseball games, you can cut them some slack because it's at every level. Everybody makes mistakes, that's for sure. So.
Absolutely, Nick. Well, hey, it should be a good one. Final thought from you.
Absolutely. Should be a good one tomorrow night. Make sure you tune in. 4 o'clock, an evening matchup with the Red Bulls behind us, who are still in the gear, fresh from a victory today. So they got back-to-backs as they head into tomorrow. DMA and Conrad, one of the best baseball matchups of the year. It's going to be a lot of fun. 4 o'clock tomorrow evening.
Teachers, give them some slack, right?
That's right.
If homework's not done tomorrow, they roll on the
Extensions.
show. It's back-to-back. Exactly. But thanks for tuning in, folks. It's been DLS Weekly. Once again, thanks to the Red Wolves and the Seahawks for stopping by. Can't wait to see you tomorrow night. Hope you guys can join us.
The things that matter most happen right in our own backyard. Our neighbors, our schools, the places we go, and the people we know. And now there's one news outlet where our story is told. Delaware Live. Locally owned, community-based news. Free to every reader, because Delaware's future belongs to all of us. Quality journalism we can trust to help us take on the day. Delaware Live. Our state, our news,